Welcome to Smell of Page. The Treasure Box, written by Sarojini Sinha. Chapter 12. Soon after the siege train arrived, the British started clearing the jungle near the northern wall of the city. The sound of hatchets and knives could be heard as they hacked down the scrubs and lemon trees between the ridge and the wall of Delhi. The refreshing smell of newly cut lemon trees drifted down to the citizens, but brought them no cheer. One evening, Govind and Bola walked to Kashmiri Gate. The rainy season was over and the sky was clear, with a few stars twinkling overhead. They saw that the British had put up big lanterns to work at night. Abdul said bitterly, "The Firangis are working day and night to take Delhi, and yet our leaders are doing nothing." By the next evening, the British had a light battery in position on the ridge to cover the Labour parties engaged in putting up heavy siege batteries near the wall. They worked all night, and by morning, a heavy gun was in position. In the next 2 days, the British erected a second battery near the Kashmir bastion and a third inside the ruined office of Custom House, which was only 150 meters from the water bastion. They also put up a battery at Kutsiaba. The next morning, Govind woke up early. He was buttoning his jacket to go to Abdul's house. When he heard a heavy rumble, the British batteries had opened fire on the Kashmir bastion. "What's that noise?" asked Bola as he came running from the courtyard. "Must be the angry guns. Let's go to Kashmiri Gate and see what's happening." The boys hurried to Kashmir Gate. The British were keeping up a ceaseless fire on the bastion, and the chunks of red masonry flew in the air. Panic-stricken people fled to safer places. Govind and Bola took shelter behind the wall of a house and cheered as guns from the Delhi and fired in reply. But their joy was short-lived because the guns were silenced within minutes. "Let's go to Mirza Sahib's house, Bola," said Govind, "and find out if he knows any of plans for a counterattack." They hurried to Mirza Yunus Khan's house and found Abdul there. The place was crowded with people, excitedly discussing the past week's events. But no one knew what plans, if any, their leaders had. Above the babble of voice, they heard the town crier calling upon people to collect the wood and stones to repair the breaches in the wall. He also announced that able-bodied men would be drafted into the labor force. Govind and Bola waited to hear no more. They rushed to Kashmir bastion eager to help. They joined the gangs digging earth and helped carry it to the wall. A young man working beside Govind wiped the sweat off his face and said, "The great Emperor Shah Jahan had these walls built, and they stood fast for 200 years. If such strong walls could be breached, how can the earth, stone and wood we are using to repair the breaches withstand the onslaught?" Govind felt the same way but kept quiet. Though the guns of Delhi had been silenced, the sepoys were doing their best. They went out of the city and took up position in trenches in front of the wall. Their muskets kept up such a steady fire that the British dared not approach the walls they had breached. The British even advanced through the jungle and broken ground below the ridge and swept the British batteries with continuous fire, thereby preventing them from manning the guns. Many a sepoy was killed, but they were undaunted. The British were in quandary. They had to do something to crush the sepoys' morale. The senior officers met to consider the next move. They emerged smiling. The plan was foolproof. The third British battery opened fire on the water bastion and reduced it to a mass of rubble. The dispirited sepoys withdrew into the city. That night, the people of Delhi could hardly sleep, being prey to all sorts of worry and anxiety. Govind and Bola, who had been working the whole day, were too tired to return home. Besides, They would have to be back at Wall early in the next morning to continue repairing it, so they lay down to rest in the veranda of a house nearby. The stars were shining bright. Flashing rockets and fireballs lit the night sky, while the roar of guns broke the eerie stillness. The boys were so fatigued that, in spite of the noise and flyers, they fell into a deep sleep. They woke up 2 hours later, conscious of the unnatural silence around them. The British guns had stopped firing in the quiet of the night. They heard the scraping of boots and the sounds of men stealthily sliding down the bridge. Some sepoys ran forward and saw 2 men. They fired but missed, and the men rushed back to the ridge, disappearing into the darkness. The British guns started firing, and Govind overheard the sepoys saying, "The officers urged the men to resume repair of the bridge." The sepoys as well as civilians like Govind and Bola worked feverishly, and the gap was closed in record time. So the British opened fire again, and the guns of Delhi roared in reply. Shells and rockets splashed past in fiery arcs.